Hello and welcome back. Today I want to talk about something that is maybe a little controversial, but it's something I've noticed a lot lately, and I think you've probably noticed it too and might even be feeling the effects. So it's just this whole concept of human beings as something that need to be optimized. You know, it's our sleep is scored, everything is tracked, everything is counted, everything, even our mood is, something that apparently an app can tell us these days. And I don't know, but I'm a bit fed up with it. And I think it is, in fact, quite a dangerous thing, especially for people with eating disorders. I'd like to believe, at least, that when a lot of this tech was introduced, it wasn't with bad intentions. I think when it first started out, these sorts of technologies were marketed as empowering. These are things that can help us improve our health. I will caveat there, one type of health, our physical health. And I have no doubt that a lot of these apps and devices are very useful, especially for people with specific medical conditions, like, your type 1 diabetes, your blood glucose monitors. They are extremely valuable if you have type 1 diabetes. I would question the value if you don't. So for the rest of us who maybe don't have a medical condition that requires ongoing monitoring and tracking, I feel like all of these apps have just become this way to use data to optimize our life, as though we are some sort of machine or some robot that works on data that is outputted, and we can change that and we can then become the best version of ourselves. And I think in some way that's why they're so successful, is because it really taps into that part of a human who, especially in this really chaotic, unpredictable, often quite scary and overwhelming world, that this is something that you can do. This is going to make you better, at least better than you were. But I kind of question right now, well, what's the cost of that? What is the cost of constantly striving to be the healthiest, most productive, best version of ourselves, especially, as I say, in a physical health sense? That is a very, very one-dimensional view of health. In my opinion, I think that this constant pursuit for better and perfection is coming at a cost of connection and of joy and spontaneity and, quite frankly, humanity. We're now living in this very strange world where kind of everything that we do in a day should be tracked and monitored, and things like sleep and eat and all of these things just need to be somehow measured or earned. We're told that if we can just hack our biology hard enough, that we will then feel well. But in my experience, as someone who has been through eating disorder recovery, who helps others go through eating disorder recovery, that couldn't be further from wellness. I think people with eating disorders are particularly vulnerable to this type of externalization. In fact, I'd almost argue that people with eating disorders were the pioneering experts of living our lives according to arbitrary rules, sometimes maybe data, but with complete disregard for our internal experience. But our bodies are not machines to be optimized. We're not meant to be perfectly efficient all of the time. We're meant to be spontaneous, to take rest days, to have unplanned snacks, to say yes to random opportunities, to go and have fun with our friends, to take an unexpected walk, to sit with our friend who's just gone through a breakup and watch TV and eat ice cream and soothe ourselves. We're not machines that should just be on one singular track of optimization. And I think that's so much of what is missing from this tech movement. It's what it means to be alive and what it means to live a full and complete life. And that it's not always reliable and it's not always efficient and it's not always trackable, and it kind of shouldn't be. And I do remember when I was in eating disorder recovery that those first few steps of learning to tune into my body were really challenging. It was quite overwhelming and quite scary, and it felt incredibly unfamiliar because for such a long time I had let numbers and charts and strange things that I had read on the internet determine what it was that I was going to be eating, what it was I should be doing in terms of movement, how I should be eating, that I'd lost so much of that connection to myself, so much of that wisdom, that intuition that my body still held, but I had just overridden it for so many years. So I really had to let go of a lot of these rules and really start asking myself, what is it that I need in this moment? What do I truly want? And that is not an easy question to ask. Well, it's not an easy question to answer when you have been overriding those cues for such a long time. So I'm not here to tell you that that's going to be easy, that it's going to be obvious, that it's going to be perfect. It's going to be none of those things, especially to start with. I remember it was messy and confusing, and I didn't know if it was me or was it the eating disorder, and I made mistakes. But I kept coming back to trying to tune in to my body. In the first instance, I think it did have to be a bit more mechanical than that. I don't think you can jump straight into this kind of intuitive type eating. And that's okay. I think we have to acknowledge that there is a time and a place for more structured, mechanical type eating to really reestablish that connection with yourself, because you can't have that connection with yourself if you're still so consumed by rules, and certainly if you're not eating enough as a baseline. But over time, with a lot of consistency, a lot of going against what my eating disorder was wanting me to do, with a lot of identification of those eating disorder rules, I was really able to rebuild that self-trust. I was able to self-support what I knew my body needed. And I think ultimately here what I'm getting at is that there isn't an app on this planet that could have told me what I needed to eat during recovery, what I need to eat now post-recovery. There just isn't. There's no app that has got the internal wisdom that I now do. I have worked so hard, and so have so many people who've recovered from their eating disorder, to rebuild self-trust with their body. And I know for a fact that it knows way better than any app what it is that's going to be good for me in any moment. And I use that word good not in a binary sense, not in a black and white sense, not in a moralistic sense. I use it in the sense of what will make me feel my best, what is going to be the right thing for me in this moment. So I come back to this idea that optimization is just not health. And part of that is because health is multifaceted. Yep, physical health comes into it. I am not going to challenge that. There is a huge component, especially in eating disorder recovery, of restoring physical health. But it is also emotional, it is spiritual, it is mental, it is financial, it is relational. All of these different facets of health are what really impact wellness. And health includes joy, it includes fun, it includes spontaneity. That kind of playfulness, I think, is so important as a need for human beings. And I know for a fact that an eating disorder takes that away. But in my opinion, I think a lot of these apps do too. They kind of remove the idea of fun or spontaneity and go, here's what you need to do today to feel your best. These apps can't tell you when you need a hug or if really you just need music and to dance, not to maybe get your steps up. The apps and the wearables just can't measure any of these other facets of health. And this is why I believe so strongly in the recovery journey and what it can do, the transformative experience that it is for you as an individual. I think whether that's recovery from a clinical eating disorder, from diet culture, or even just kind of this self-monitoring burnout, I think it's just such an important and incredible journey to be able to come home to yourself in a world that is trying to disconnect you from your core self. And in this process, it's about reclaiming that authority over your own body. It's about turning inwards. It's about listening. It's about trusting. It's about being able to self-support and having the confidence that you've just always got your own back, that you are not reliant on some external data to tell you what it is that you need. And that's what's missing in this optimization culture, just an understanding that you are human and that it is messy and it is not linear and it is not perfect and it's not meant to be. This is life. We have to embrace it, the ups and the downs. And the more that we can do that, the more that we actually feel alive, contrary to what they say, what the marketing gurus will tell you about these devices, the more that we exist and participate in the world, the more well we will feel. So perhaps instead of asking, how can I optimize today? We could try a few other questions. We could ask perhaps, what is it that is going to lead me in the direction that I want my life to go? And even, what is it that will make me feel supported today? I think I'm hesitant to lean too heavy into what do I need, because I think that can really be hard when you're in early recovery if you haven't developed that sort of sense of connection to yourself. But I think that question of what is going to make me feel supported in taking those hard actions, that is something that we can work on, and that is something that's really tangible and can be super valuable when you're going through the hard bits of recovery. So if you are tired of tracking, of counting, of letting your life be ruled by arbitrary rules and arbitrary data that is nowhere near ever going to be as smart as your body, then I invite you to turn inwards, to listen to your body, to find the right sort of support for you that will help you through that phase, and just to have the knowledge that it is possible to reestablish that connection. And it is such a wonderful thing when you do. So I'm firmly of the belief that you deserve to feel good in your life, and that's an inside job. That is not something an app can tell you. It's something to be learnt through the wonderful, messy human experience. So I hope that that's been interesting. I hope that that's maybe resonated with some of you and given you permission to maybe not live by the rules or by the data. But take care, you know where I am, and I look forward to chatting soon. Bye for now.